So good day guys, I'm blessed for tuning in for what an amazing week this week is. Or like what an amazing week to be a trader, what an amazing week to even be alive. So I'm going to start this week video by saying if you are an intraday trader, which means you're likely to hold trade for more than 1 day, or you trade pairs that require large lot sizes, Fundednext is not for you. If you're an intraday trader and you trade currency pairs or anything that requires large lot size, Fundednext Propfirm is not for you. Now take a look at this screenshot of here. This is my first trade for the week. Now I'm going to give you a few seconds. What did you notice from the screenshot of there? So anything you notice on this screenshot is the reason that I'm telling you guys that as an intraday trader, and you also trade currency pairs that require large lot sizes for you to risk a reasonable amount, you understand, you shouldn't trade with Fundednext. You shouldn't. For those of you that have not still noticed anything on the screenshot, I'm going to explain it in a bit. You shouldn't trade with Fundednext because someone explained to me, how the heck am I risking 1% per trade, and Fundednext is charging me a swap fee of 2%. Mind you, I'm risking 1%. I'm going for 1:2, which is 2%. Now Fundednext is charging me 2% for swap fee. Like, I don't even understand. Because I made a similar video like this, I think early this year or last year, where I was charged, I think $14 or $14 for swap fee. Still on this Ethereum USD. But this one is too much. I mean, Fundednext can do better. Like, what the fuck? I'm risking 1%, I'm going for 2% here, charging me 2% for swap fee. That shouldn't be so. So we are going to go down to the chart so I can explain each and every trade. Right, I took only 2 trades this week. One on Ethereum USD and then the other on this on gold. So I tried trading gold this week. So I'm going to break down the chart. Mind you, I took only 2 trades, doesn't mean I did only 2 analysis. So I'm going to show you guys all the analysis I did for this week, how they played out, and especially this one on Ethereum USD, that this Fundednext is that they want to take on my money. But this is one of the analysis I did this week. I don't get to take this one. But let's go to the Ethereum USD, which is the first trade on Monday. So this is Ethereum USD, and as you can see, this trade is a winning. If not for the incident with Fundednext, the commission fee, the high commission that they charged me, this would have been a win week for me, a very good win week for me. You understand? So let's break down this analysis, how we arrived there. So first of all, we're going to start by clearing the charts. So from the 4 hours time frame, I noticed that, not even from the daily time frame, I noticed that our Ethereum USD, we are bearish after this series of consolidation here. Price dropped lower, so there is bearishness. So we are looking for lower price action. You understand? So I went to the 4 hours time frame. Now, in the 4 hours time frame, what am I searching for? I'm searching for the lowest, the most recent break of structure to the downside. That is the only thing I'm searching for on this 4 hours time frame in Ethereum USD. The most recent break of structure to the downside. And as of then, so that Monday, this was the most recent break of structure to the downside. Let me mark it out. This break of structure here, that is a BOS. And I know there is a probability of price trying to retrace back to this order block before continue pushing down. Mind you, we are bearish. So price is likely to go down, but then you have to, do a little bit of retracement into this order block here before pushing down. So I also have this zone marked on this 4 hours time frame, this order block zone here. I've marked this zone since early this month, I think so. I've forgotten, but then this zone here. So I was not like, okay, price have the potential to react from here. Like this zone has the potential to push price up to this order block before we now take our side from there. So what we're going to first do, we're going to first take a buy, since we're not going for much risk reward, because I'm already in drawdown. I remember in my previous video I told you guys that whenever I'm in drawdown, or whenever you're in drawdown, you should go for 1:2 till you're able to bring your account back to break even and add at least 1 to 2%, you understand, on the account before you can now go for your usual take profits, maybe 1:4, 1:5. But me, I do go for 1:4, but since I'm on drawdown, I'm aiming for 1:2, and I know 1:2 is like, I can easily get 1:2. So when price dropped to this zone and dropped down to the 15-minute time frame, to look for an entry. Let's zoom in. So this was the first drop here. So after this consolidation, price pulled up and came back here. You understand? Giving us this another break of structure here to this downside. Another BOS, that is another BOS to the downside on the lower time frame. And also it cleared this liquidity, which is this first start thing that you do here, this long wick here. It cleared the liquidity. So now I'm looking for higher price action. So I'm looking for an area to enter, you understand, to buy the market from. And the area that caught my eye was this multiple rejection here plus an OB, this zone here. So there's this one, let me use this cursor. There's this one rejection here, this one, and plus this candlestick here, which is another block. But below it is a fair value gap and another other block, which is another interesting level. So I know there is potential, there is like price might possibly come down to this fair value gap. It might not get to this other block though, but it might likely come down to feel this imbalance here. So when price got to my entry, I took my long from here, from this zone, put my stop loss a little bit after this fair value gap. Like I said, I know prices have the potential to come to not just to the fair value gap, but to the main threshold, which is the 50% of the fair value gap. So in order not to miss the trade, I have to take it from this multiple rejection, which also is a high probability place that price might reject from, and also minding my my stop level to avoid getting stopped out when price comes to this fair value gap. That's why I have to put it after the fair value gap, somewhere here. That is where my stop was. So I'm going for 1:2, like I said. I did 1:2. I was targeting these highs, this relative high there, this high. That's what I'm targeting, but it did not give me that 1:2, so I have to go a little bit above it. 1:2, somewhere there. You understand? And as you can see, this market delivered 1:2 for me. Just that the only reason I lost this trade was because like it did not deliver in just one day, and I used a high lot size. So Fundednext ended up charging me more. You understand? This was that zone. I think it was on Tuesday. Took the trade around 11, and then this was here. I think it was somewhere here that they did that. And I just woke up around 3 a.m. I saw that I'm just small pullback into my area, into this zone like this. I'm seeing minus $92. You understand? Which is not so fair. Honestly, it's not just so fair from Fundednext. But then this is one of the trades. And the second trade I took was on gold, on XAUUSD. Which one did I use? Let's check this one. So the trade I took on gold, so those started from the thing, the 4 hours time frame. Yeah, the 4 hours time frame. Now gold 2, mind you, gold 2 was bearish, so I'm likely expecting a lower price action. And as you can see from, not even from the daily time frame itself, is still bearish. You understand? So from the 4 hour time frame, this was our last break of structure here. Let me mark that one out too. Break of structure to the downside. Now we have this other block to watch price, to look at price for. This other block here, that's what I'm expecting price. So I went down to my 1 hour time frame to get a tinier and a tighter order block, which what I usually do is when I get to my 1 hour time frame, I still clear the chart again to reanalyze. You understand? So this is my 1 hour time frame. These multiple rejections here, and then there is the break of structure that we saw on the 4 hours time frame BOS. Now where is the origin that caused this break of structure from this 1 hour time frame? I clearly see this is the other block here. That blue candlestick, this is the other block. So in conjunction with this multiple rejection from this zone, so I was really anticipating that this zone is going to hold price. You understand? Which is actually the just I got stopped at before these moves happen. You understand? So I took my short from here when price got there, and my stop loss on this high. So I wasn't expecting price to go anywhere above this level, so I put my stop loss there and my take profit 1:2. I was targeting this low. You understand? Targeting this low. So price came, stopped me, and went to my direction. Now This trade time period is exactly the same time with this USD CHF that ended up being a winning. You understand? If I should put this my cursor here, now watch the time, this lower side, you can see Wednesday 14. Let me put it where this, you can see 16 o'clock. 16 o'clock is around what I said. 13 is 1, 2, 3. Let's say around that time 6 in the evening. Is in the evening. 16 is evening. 13 is 1. 14 is 2. 15 is 3. Yeah, around that time 4 o'clock. Yeah, 16 evening 4 o'clock. So if you can see 16, if I go back to that trade on gold, go back, XAUS USD. Now let's put it here to the at same time. This one tapped in. Okay, this one tapped in at 15, which is around 3. So just an hour difference, but it's almost the same thing. You understand? So the time period of this trade and the other one is the same thing. You understand? Just that that one happened to tap me in first because I put pending order on both of them. So when I came, that one have already tapped me in. So I have to now remove this one pending order because it's one trade at a time. You understand? But then let's still break down this analysis again so that you can also learn from it. So this one, I start the analysis on my daily time frame. Now my daily time frame, I notice that price is already breaking out of this fair value gap. Price was already breaking out of this fair value gap, as you can see. So I'm expecting a higher price action, probably targeting this liquidity or rejecting from this other block. That was what I was anticipating. You understand? So I moved down to my 4 hours time frame. Now what I usually do is when I get to the 4 hour time frame, like I said, I clear the chart again to start to analyze. You understand? Because every time frame have its own structure. You understand? So I erase my chart, everything, and start analyzing from the 4 hours time frame. And you can see from the 4 hours time frame, there's this break of structure here. But then I wouldn't use this break of structure because there is also multiple rejection from this zone. From this zone, you can see clearly. Now this would have been my first trade. This zone here would have been my first trade. I don't know if I made mention of it in my previous video, but this was what I was looking to take trade from on Monday. You understand? When market opened. So when market opened and price got here, I went down to my 15-minute time frame because using multiple rejection, I have to wait for confirmation on the 15-minute time frame. Whenever I'm using multiple rejection to trade, I have to wait for confirmation on the 15-minute time frame. You understand? So I went down to my 15-minute time frame. I noticed this break of structure here. This was it. BOS to the upside or market structure shift, anyone. Just like there's a structure broken there. You understand? So I was expecting price to come down to this fair value gap here. This fair value gap. So this was where I put my pending order. It's my stop loss. Below this my protected low. You understand? This is protected low. So aiming for 1:2, but then I was targeting this high though. But if you are giving me 1:2, I'll take it to. I'm going. You understand? So price consolidated, didn't come to my entry and finally pushed up. You understand? So you know how we do it. We don't panic. Still wait for another opportunity. You understand? So fall back to my 4 hours time frame. The next day, I think it's the next or 3 days. But no, I don't know. Just fall back to my 4 hours time frame. And from my 4 hours time frame, I noticed this break of structure here to the upside, showing that price is still willing to push up, probably getting to this 4 hours order block, which is what I hoped. This 4 hours time frame order block, or possibly taking it out, this liquidity here. So that was the two things I was anticipating. If price doesn't reject from this order block, it should take out this liquidities here. You understand? So after this break of structure, the origin that caused the break of structure, the order block. Now this was 4 hours origin here. This was 4 hours origin. So I went down to my 1 hour, still do the same analysis. I did the same analysis from my 4 hours time frame. So I went, let's go back. So this is the 4 hour zone. So I now went down to my 1 hour. You understand? I still have to reanalyze from the 1 hour chart. Now, luckily for me, the zone I picked on the 4 hours is exactly the same thing for the one on the 1 hour. You understand? Because this is the break of structure, same break of structure, and you can see this is the last bearish candlestick here that triggered this break of structure. So the zone was exactly the same for me on the 1 hour time frame. So I just have to do some readjustments to it. Let's remove this thing. Do this readjustment to it. So this is what I was waiting price for, and when price came in, tapped me in here. See what I can see. This one I don't necessarily need confirmation because I only trade confirmation for USD CHF. If I'm using multiple rejection, that's when I need confirmation. Understand? But whenever I'm using another block like this, especially if this clean like this, I don't usually use confirmation. So my stop was just below this other block. Yeah, somewhere there. Yeah, like this. So I'll give it enough space in case. So usual 1:2. But this one even gave me 1:3 self. Gave me 1:3. So it's not so bad week, just that the loss on what is it called itself? It's from USD already fucked up the week. If not, I'd even cost down win on the it's from USD. I've been able to take this trade and the other one and even at the same time self, because I'm already in prof, you understand. But then it's not a bad week. It's not a bad week. We keep pushing. So this is the P&L for the week, and as you can see, I'm at the verge of blowing this account. I think in less than 2 trades now, this account will be gone. You understand? So, but before then, I'll update you guys if I'm still buying from Fundednext, or I should just look for another Propfirm to buy from. But honestly, I'm tempted in buying, this good funded, the way it's trending. But I don't really believe in trending stuff. I just believe there's something fishy about that Propfirm. I just can't tell. But then I know there's something fishy about the Propfirm. You understand? But before then, I'm still with, Fundednext. They have one of the best trading conditions, in the industry. But this shit they are doing is not just fair, it's not just nice. Trust me, it's not. But then we'll keep pushing. So do well to like, subscribe, and also share your thoughts in the comment section. If you have ever experienced something like this with Fundednext, or you have a Propfirm recommendation for me, you understand, share it in the comment section too. You understand? Thank you all for watching. See you all next week.